Hello students. uh, Yesterday, as you know, that we have studied about pressure, how can we measure atmospheric pressure and what is the pressure difference and so on. I also told about Torricelli experiments and how he measured the pressure of atmosphere by using mercury, what is the unit of pressure and so on. Today I am going to teach you about what is buoyancy or sorry, what is buoyant force or upward thrust. As you know that when any substance is immersed in any liquid or fluid, then it displays some fluid, some amount of fluid, then definitely that amount of fluid have tendency to regain its original position, and that's why to regain its original position, the fluid offers an an upthrust in the opposite direction to the direction of pressure. Suppose that if there is a container filled with liquid and we are placing some load on this, it means we are applying a force normal to this direction, inward direction, and definitely it will displace some water from here, and that displaced water have tendency to regain its position, and that's why it will apply an upward force, and this upward force have tendency to just send it in upward direction. It means there will be action of upthrust on the body, so that's why that upthrust is known as buoyant force, and this whole phenomena actually known as, or this is buoyancy. So simply buoyancy is nothing but it is an upward thrust due to the action of any load immersed in the liquid or any substance immersed in the liquid. Means this is normal a reaction of the load of any substance when it immersed in the liquid. So how can we calculate this buoyancy force, and we can actually see this normally by the Archimedes principle. So let's see that what is the law of flotation, and how can a body float on surface of liquid or within the liquid, and so on. So let's see all these things. I think buoyant force is clear to you. Simply buoyant force is nothing but it's a reaction to the pressure, reaction to the force which any body apply when it is immersed in the liquid. Simple, I think clear, it's clear to you. And one more thing is that normal buoyancy force displays the center of gravity of the body within the fluid. Means it will act the center of buoyant force according to center of buoyant force, not according to the center of gravity. Means it displaces the center of gravity of the body when any body is immersed in the fluid. Clear? Then let's study what is the Archimedes principle. So let's study what is the Archimedes principle. Actually, this principle helps us to understand how a body can float on liquid surface, or it can float under the liquid surface, and and so on. So what is the statement of Archimedes principle? I will tell you later what is the law, how can a body float on the surface. So according to Archimedes principle, when a body or solid immersed in the liquid, then it loses some of its weight, and that loss in weight is equal to the water displaced or fluid displaced by that body. So this is the principle of Archimedes. Then it means that simple, it states that if we immerse any body in liquid or fluid, then definitely there will be some loss in the weight of the body, and that loss will depend on some factor, I will tell you later, and that loss in the weight of body will be equal to the water displaced, amount of water displaced by it while when emerging in the liquid. Clear? We can prove it that loss in weight of the body will be equal to the amount of water displaced by it. So let's see what how can we prove this principle. How can we prove the Archimedes principle? For this, let us consider there is a container filled with liquid, and we are immersing any body in it to the height of its height of the body is small h, and we are the depth to which it is immersed in the liquid is small x. Let us consider the mass of the body is capital M, and density of this liquid is rho. Clear? If A is the cross sectional area of the body, then we can easily calculate volume of the body, which will be A into H, and that volume will be equal to the volume of liquid displaced, that will be A into H. And so we can easily calculate what will be the mass of the liquid displaced, small m, that will be density into volume. So simply it will be rho A H. Clear, I think. Now, as you know that when we any body is immersed in the liquid, there will be the action of some force, normal forces on it, and there will be two forces. First is F1 and second is F2. F2 is acting in upward direction and F1 is acting in downward direction. So definitely that we can calculate these forces. As you, let us suppose that here at this point pressure is P1. At this point pressure is P2. As you know that with depth or height, pressure changes, and the change in pressure is measured by gauge pressure, as you know that. So if let us consider here pressure is P1, here pressure is P2. So what will be the pressure P1? That will be, as you know, the value of pressure P1 is H rho G, and here the value of H is X, means depth is X, so X rho into G. So we can calculate easily force from here. What will be the force? F equal to, as you know that, P into A. It means that F1 equal to P1 into A, and we can easily solve it to find out F1. Again similarly we can solve P2. Here the depth is H plus X. So that's why this will be H rho G, means X plus H rho G equal to, you can also find out force F2 from here, that will be P2 into A. So P2 into A. Now easily we have these two forces, then we can calculate difference between that two forces. It means net force acting on the body when we immersed it in the liquid. So what will be the net force? Net force will be F2 minus F1, and after solving it you will get, put the value of F2 and F1. So this factor will be cancelled out, X rho GA, and definitely we will get H rho GA here. Okay, and you know that H into A is volume, rho is density, and G is acceleration due to gravity. So this term can be written as H rho A, that is the mass, as you know that. So this will be the simply M into G. Clear? And this is the M into G is the weight of the liquid displaced. Means when we immersed body in the liquid, then obviously some liquid is some amount of liquid is displaced, and what is the weight of liquid which is displaced, and that is small mg, and the value of M is rho A H. Clear? As you know that if you will calculate the true weight of this body, that will be capital M into G, and when it immersed in the liquid, then definitely it displaced some amount M into G. Then what will be the change in its weight? Then that will be M into G minus mg. As we have calculated the weight in the weight of body in the liquid when it is immersed in the liquid, then definitely the weight will be M into G, weight will be changed. Means now true weight of the body, or actually not true weight, weight of the body in the liquid, that will be M into G minus small mg. Simply it means that this is now exact weight of the body in the liquid. It means through this amount body of there is a loss in the weight of the body, and that loss in weight of the body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. As we have calculated already, weight of the liquid displaced by the body is small mg. So definitely since we are getting now weight of the body when it immersed in the liquid is capital Mg minus small mg, means through this amount it is losing its weight. So sorry, loss in weight will be equal to the weight of liquid displaced through it. So this is the Archimedes principle's proof. As you know that Archimedes principle is simply this: when we immersed any body in liquid, then loss in weight of the body will be equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. So this is proved from here, I think. Now I think Archimedes principle's proof is clear to you. Now let's see what is the law of flotation and how can we explain that with the help of Archimedes principle. One more thing I want to tell you: if density of fluid we have taken is different than the density of body, then definitely there will be some weight loss in weight of the body due to the difference. So if for calculation, let us assume that sigma is the density of the body and rho is the density of the liquid taken. So then as you know that what is the weight of the body in the liquid, that will be true weight minus this weight mg. So we can write it in place of m, that is sigma A into h, means density into volume. So that's in the same manner we can write it here, rho into A into h. Okay. So we can easily calculate this in this way. That will be rho minus sigma minus rho, and if we common this factor rho sigma here, then definitely we will get it in form as this quantity rho sigma A h g is true weight W, then definitely we can find out easily what will be the true weight, as if we know the weight of body in liquid and densities of material body taken, and also density of liquid. So we can easily measure the true weight from here. So Archimedes principle actually works on this. There can be three cases when W can be greater than W dash, when W can be equal to W dash, and when W can be less than the W dash, and what will be the result. Okay. So definitely if we will immersed any, so comes to the law of flotation. When we immersed any body in liquid, then there will be the action of two force on it. First is true weight of the body, that will be W equal to sigma A rho h A g. Sigma is the density of the body and rho is the density of the liquid taken. So obviously you know for the for action liquid will show a reaction which we know as beyond force. So what will be the beyond value of beyond force? That will be the mass of the liquid displaced by the body, and simply we can write it m into small m into g, and the value of small m is a rho A h. So we can write it here. So that's why we can take what will be the observed weight, means what will be the W dash. Simple, I am showing that things here. Now there can be three conditions according to the true weight and observed weight. So let's see what is three conditions. Actually I told you W can be greater than W dash, W can be less than W dash, or W can be equal to W dash. Then in all these three conditions, what will be the result? Body will float on the liquid surface or not? So let's see that one by. So as we have the true weight of the body is this value, and beyond value of beyond force or weight of the liquid displaced by this body is this. So we have three conditions. First condition is that if the true weight of the body is greater than the liquid displaced by it, it means that it must have density greater than the density of liquid. Means like solid bodies. Solid bodies have the greater density than the than the liquid density of liquid. Then in this condition, body will sink and to the bottom of the liquid. Means in this condition, body is not able to float. It will be completely sinked in the liquid. Second condition is that if true weight is less than the weight of liquid displaced by it, it means that when it displaced liquid more than its weight. So in this condition, it means that sigma will be less than rho, means density of body will be less than the density of liquid. Then definitely in this condition, as the displaced weight is the displaced amount of liquid is greater than the weight of the body, then there will be a larger upthrust than the force acting on the liquid. So if there is larger upthrust, then definitely body will float on the surface of the water. So this is the condition of floating of water, floating of body on the surface of the water. Third condition is that if true weight is equal to the beyond force or simple weight of the liquid displaced by it, in this condition density of the body is equal to the density of the liquids taken. So this is also a condition of flotation of body, but in this condition body will float not on the surface, but its whole of the volume will be immersed in the liquid. I think it's clear to you. As you weight of the liquid of the water, weight of liquid displaced by it is equal to the weight, its true weight, then definitely it will immerse its volume in the liquid. But since there is equal force and equal upthrust, then definitely it will float in that condition. Like if we have this liquid, then body will be floating under this liquid like this. So this is the floating condition when we have true weight equal to the beyond force. Okay, and this is the condition when it will float on the surface, and this is the condition when it will sink completely. So I think now the law of flotation is clear to you. It depends completely on the density of the body and density of liquid taken, and if density of body is greater than the density of liquid, then body will sink in the liquid. If density is less than the density of body is less than the density of liquid, then definitely it will float on the surface. And if it is equal to the density of liquid, then definitely it will float under the water. Okay, so I think law of flotation is clear to you. So let's see some other thing. So let's see what is the equilibrium of the floating body. As from the Archimedes principle and law of flotation, we have cleared this thing that if the true weight of the body is less than the weight of the liquid displaced by it, then it will float on the surface, or it will be equal to the liquid weight of the liquid displaced by it, then definitely it will float under the surface of the water. So these are the two conditions for the floating of the body. But the body will be in equilibrium if all the forces or couples acting on it will be zero. Let us suppose that if center of gravity of the body and center of buoyancy force, simple center of buoyant force, will not be under a same vertical line, then definitely it will, if let us suppose that they are at different vertical line, then definitely they will form a couple here, and that couple have tendency to rotate the body, and simply if body will rotate, then its equilibrium condition will be changed. It will be not in equilibrium condition. So that's why it is necessary for the equilibrium of the body, means for the stability of the body in the liquid, center of buoyant force must be lie in the same vertical line at the center of gravity of the body. Simple. For the equilibrium of the floating body, it is necessary that center of gravity lies in the same vertical line as the center of buoyant force lies. Means that 2 points must be in the same vertical line first. So there are some conditions for the equilibrium of floating body. If we want that there will be no action of any torque or couple on it, means there will be no rotation, body must be equilibrium under equilibrium while we are immersing it in liquid, and it will float, then there will be some conditions. First condition I have told you, there must be no couple of force acting on the body, means net force. I am not talking about there will be no force. their net force or net couple acting on the body will be zero. Means if there will be the change in center of gravity and center of buoyant force, then definitely they will form a couple, and that couple has tendency to rotate the body, and that's why equilibrium will be changed. So to maintain the equilibrium, we must have first condition, center of gravity and center of buoyant force must be under the same vertical line. Clear? Second is that center of buoyant force must be above the center of gravity for the flotation. Now let us solve some numerical problem based on Archimedes principle. A stone of density 2.5 into 10 power 3 kg per meter cube completely immersed in a sea water. Simple, in sea water it is immersed and is allowed to sink from rest. Calculate depth to which the stone would sink in 2 seconds. Means we have to calculate the depth to which it can sink within 2 minutes. Neglect the effect of viscosity, means there is no resistance, suppose that, and the relative density of sea water is 1.02 1.025. So this is actually simple question in which density of stone is given, and you know that the relative density of sea water is given, so you can easily find out what is the density of sea water, and also you can calculate through which depth it can be sink in 2 seconds. So let's see the solution for the question. For the solution, first we need volume of the stone, and suppose that mass of the stone is small m, then simply volume will be mass per unit, mass upon density, and as you know the density of a stone, then we can easily write it here. Now as you know that if any body is immersed in liquid, then definitely there are two forces acting on the body equal to mass, according to Archimedes principle. First is weight of the body acting downward, and second is upthrust by liquid in the upward direction. So what will be the upward thrust on the stone? That will be V into rho into G, means simply mass of the water displaced into G. So we can write volume from here, and as you know the relative density of the sea water, then we can write it here and G. Clear? I think. Now what will be the weight of the stone? That will be simply m into G. So simply means as you know that force is acting downward, and finally stone is going to sink. That's why downward force will be greater than the upward thrust. So mg minus upward thrust will give us the force, final force acting in the downward direction. So we can easily calculate it. That will comes to this, and can easily calculate it, and as you know that how much force is acting to sink this stone, then we can easily calculate what will be the acceleration in the body produced. So simply acceleration in the body will be, or stone will be, F upon m. As you know that final force acting downward direction is simply the difference between the weight of the body and simply minus upward thrust, and we have calculated the value. So we can write this, the value of F, that will be 1.475 upon 2.5 m into G divided by m. So simply after solving we will get here G. Clear? Now as we know acceleration produced in the body, and we know already after 2 seconds we have to calculate depth, then we can take the help of the relation of the distance travelled in time t. So that will be according to equation of motion, s equal to ut plus half at square. As you know that u is 0, means initial velocity of the stone is 0, then definitely s will be half at square, and finally after putting the value of a 1.475 upon 2.5 G into, as you know that the value of t is 2 seconds, then after solving it you will get the value of it is 11.6 meter. Now I think this is clear to you. Simple, we have to use Archimedes principle. As you know that Archimedes principle states us that the weight of liquid displaced by the weight of the body is must be equal to the upthrust, simple upthrust drawn by it, or upthrust applied by it. So that means that we can use that statement, that theory for the solution of this numerical problem. Simply we have to calculate upthrust and we have to calculate weight of the body acting downward, and finally it is given in our problem that stone is going to sink. So that's why it means that downward force must be greater than the upward force. So we have to calculate net force. After calculating net force, we will calculate acceleration in the body, and with the help of this acceleration and time, we can easily calculate what will be the depth in 2 seconds, and that will be 11.6 meter. So now let's see a relation between density of a solid and density of a liquid in which it immersed while floating. Means suppose that if any solid body is floating inside the liquid, or at the surface of the liquid, then what will be the relation between density of a solid and density of the liquid? So suppose that if a solid of volume V1, density ρ1 is taken, and it immersed into a liquid of density ρ2. Clear? Simple. And V2 is the volume of the body immersed in the liquid. So as you know that simply the volume of the or weight of the liquid displaced by the immersed part will be equal to V2, simple m into g, and m can be written as V2 into rho. Since this volume is immersed in the liquid, it means that this volume will displace liquid through its weight. It means this will be the weight or the amount of water, weight of amount of water displaced by it. That will be simply equal to the weight of the body outside the. So simply this will be equal in equilibrium condition. Then definitely we can write a relation between them, ρ1 by ρ2 equal to V2 by V1. Clear? Now the fraction of the body immersed in the liquid means how much fraction is immersed in liquid. Then definitely you know V2 is the volume immersed in liquid, and V1 is the true volume. Then definitely what fraction will be V2 upon V1, and simply from this relation we can write ρ1 upon ρ2. Clear? Now volume of the solid body outside the liquid while floating means how much volume is outside under the floating condition. Then definitely V2 is the volume immersed in the liquid, then and V1 is the true volume of the body. Then definitely there will be V1 minus V2 volume, that will be the outside the liquid. Clear? Then we can also calculate fraction of the body outside the liquid. That will be simply V1 minus V2 upon V1. Like the fraction immersed in the liquid, since V2 volume was emerging in the liquid, then that's why the fraction will be V2 upon original volume V1. And outside, since we have V1 minus V2 volume, then definitely fraction of volume which is outside will be V1 minus V2 upon original volume V1. After solving it, we can write 1 minus ρ1 by ρ2, means simply how much fraction we have outside or inside of the body we can calculate if we know the densities of the liquid and solid we have taken for the rotation or something. Okay, if simply density of solid material is ρ1 and density of liquid material is ρ2, then definitely in the form of ρ1 and ρ2 we can easily calculate how much fraction is inside the body and how much fraction is outside the body, and in the floating condition. Clear? Thus density of any liquid or comparison of density of liquid can easily tells us that that body will float in other liquid or not. Simply this is the case of ice. It means if ice is melting in water, then definitely it will not change the level of water. There will be no increment or decrement in the level of water. It remains constant because the density of ice is equal to the density of liquid. In this case, there will be no change. Second case is that if density of taken liquid is greater than the density of ice, then definitely there will be rise in level. It will not remain constant. So we have to keep in mind that which liquid we are taking to dip any solid, to immerse any solid, and according to that liquid, and firstly relate the density of the solid taken and density of liquid taken. After that, if density of solid is greater than the density of liquid, then definitely there will be fall in the level. If density of solid is less than the density of liquid, and then there will be increment in level. And if both are same, then definitely there will be no change in the level of the liquid. So this is all the actually height or depth problem and variation in the. So I think now it's clear to you what is the law of flotation. Means how can a body float on the water surface or inside the surface, or how can it sink in the water. So all these problems I have tell you. So let's end the class here. Thank you.